Well, so me and my buddy was talking today, and I was telling him all about how I'm gonna learn Latin. He's like, now why in the F would you do that? I'm like, well, dude, Latin is the language of the learned, bro. You know, like, you got the Black Plague. Well, in the Latin, it's Yersinia pestis. The botanical world, all of it has a Latin name. The praying mantis is the Mantis religioso. For one, it sounds cool as shit, okay? But what I'm trying to say is doctors, they've always got like a, the gluteus maximus. They're the glutes. The dumb people say glutes, right? The smart people, the learned people, use the Latin terms, and they have all through the centuries. The Catholic Church prays in Latin prayers. And here's the thing, when you can't interpret the language that interprets the world, okay, then someone else has to interpret the world for you. Now, I've been talking about words and the power of words, all this stuff, and I'm gonna get into real fast on how to expand your consciousness, because words, it all begins with words, dude. A word produces an image, right? We think with an imagination. It's an image in there, right? And then springs forth a concept. And most people don't realize how at a disadvantage you are when you have a lack of vocabulary. All right, now I'll get into it. So there's around 165,000 words in the English language. Guess how many the common person uses? 30 to 40,000. That's by definition a quarter, okay, roughly. All right, so I'm gonna give you one example why this is massive, all right? And it is, whenever the English settlers, the European settlers came over here to the Americas and they started integrating with the tribes, the natives, they noticed that nobody that spoke the original native language, no one that spoke the original native language and grew up on the reservation, none of them had a stutter. Well, as it turns out, there was no word for stutter. Now, if there's no word, there's no image. And if there's no image, how are you gonna stutter? Okay? Now, this is a proven fact, okay? But anyways, so basically, the person that increases their vocabulary increases their IQ 100% of the time. Now, that is massive, because if you think about it, if we only use a quarter of the actual language, right? If we only use 40,000 words and there's 160, wouldn't that mean that we are only engaging conceptually with a quarter of the world around us, a quarter of reality, a quarter of what makes this world spin? I'm saying that to broaden your consciousness, it starts with words. And if you actually want to have a good grasp and a broad grasp on what the hell is going on, all those terms in the news that you hear them talking about, GDP and recession and inflation and all this stuff, that shit's Chinese to the fucking average person. But I'm telling you, dude, if you go in the dictionary and look it up, now there's a concept, there's a definition, now you can operate from it. Now you're in the know, okay? So, I'm going to learn Latin because I feel like the closer I can get to the source, the closer I can get to the 1% of people, and, you know, the closest to the source I can get, the better. So I'm going to learn Latin because I feel like it's going to unlock a lot of the other languages and everyday language that we use for me to get a more clear, precise definition on the words that we use now, for me to act in, you know, power and clarity with them. Let me think of a good word here. I don't know, let's say mistake. What is the normal word, concept of mistake? Oh, mistake. That's bad. Oh my gosh, you made a mistake. It's over. It's all over. Oh my God. But if you hyphenate that word, you have mistake. It's just a mistake. That goes from something that is, you know, set in concrete and, bad and negative to, wow, it's just a mistake. It was just a mistake. It's all right. You can get back on track. And just to say, the way we make progress is to fail. How are you ever going to fine tune your process if you don't fail? It's kind of impossible. If you're waiting on, all green lights, and if you're waiting to be perfect before you start, good fucking luck. All right, dude. So I'm just going to say, let's fucking go, like I always say. And then not only that, but society and growing up, if you use big words, people are like, oh, look, you use big words. What a dumbass. They make you feel dumb for being stupid, or they make you feel dumb for being smart. And society is kind of like, whipped our ass, whipped the smart people's ass. Well, I'm telling you right now, dude, you need to value education, and the correct education. You need to value becoming, just an absolute beast at your craft. All right, you need to be in tip-top physical peak shape. You need to be pushing for your potential to be realized, dude, in all the areas that are important. Finances, health, all of that stuff, dude. And I'll end it with this. I heard this from Ty Lopez the other day. He said, it was an Einstein quote, and he always says it when people say that he's weird. And so whenever somebody says, hey, Tim, you're weird, he always says, the funny thing about, or that reminds me of an Einstein quote. Einstein said, the funny thing about smart people is they always seem weird to dumb people. It's just funny shit, man. It shuts him up pretty quick from what he says. I think it's funny, man. But how would a literate man appear in an illiterate society? A freak, okay? But the thing is, he's the smart one. He knows what's going on. He's in the know. But all the dummies think he's a complete fool. He looks retarded. Okay? Well, I don't know. I'll leave it there, but let's fucking go, bro.